Hello, my name is Rosalind Marie Earp, and I am being murdered by the FBI with parasites. I want to talk about Dan Houselton, my ex-boyfriend, and how I know he was murdered by the FBI. First off, why do I think he was murdered by the FBI? Well, because when he was living with me in Everett, they were watching and listening everything that was said and done in our apartment, and we were talking about things. That's when Dan told me the story of how he raped his sister. Now, he told me his sister. Now, he wasn't just a kid, he was a teenager, and he said his sister was 4 years old, and, what did he say, he was about 13 or something like that? Now, he had his friend over, and his friend started raping his sister in front of him, and then, Dan told me, he said, no, that's not how it's done, let me show you how it's done, and he raped his sister. It disgusted me, it turned my stomach. As I was looking at him while he was telling me the story, I noticed he was smiling and laughing. I said, "Why are you smiling?" And then he started laughing. I said, "Why are you laughing?" I said, "Did you know at the time it was wrong?" He continued to smile and laugh. I said, I got angry. "Why are you smiling? Why are you laughing? Do you think it's funny?" And then I said, "Do you know now that it was wrong?" He still smiled and laughed. Well, they were watching and listening, of course. I don't know if they already knew this or if this was news to them. But I noticed that when we started going to Jack in the Box, they were... And any store we went to, any Mexican food or Subway, they were poisoning us, and you could tell they were poisoning the pop and the tap, because first of all, it comes out white, and it's not right yet, because the parasites in it they're still mixing with the pop or something, and when you drink it, it feels like electricity hitting your lips, and it bites you a little bit, and it's like a zap, bam. And I remember we would go in there and fill up our pops, we drink it, and I'm like, "Oh damn, that has a bite to it." And I was looking over at the FBI workers working at the Jack in the Box there on Casino, and we were smiling and laughing because they're sadistic like that. It's really, really, really sick. They act so like it's Christmas morning. They're all and smiling and like they're getting off on it. What I noticed then when we went out to eat Mexican food, the salsa zap, the same thing when you put it to your mouth. It's like electricity, because they're all going into your pores at the same time, and it kind of it stings a little bit. And when I first met Dan, he was really a small guy, a really thin build, and then because these parasites are different. They make you get bigger and bigger and fatter and fatter, and so like after he said that about his sister, I lost all respect for him. I had no love for him, basically. I really didn't want to be with him anymore, but I felt like I was kind of like stuck with him or something. And because I asked him, what happened with his last relationship when she broke up with him. He said he took a speaker, because she worked at Subway. He took the speaker to her place of employment and put a note on the speaker with a knife in it with blood or with ketchup that looked like blood on it, and with a note on it that said something, I don't know what. So I thought, okay, so he's not going to take a breakup real well. So that's when I decided to be the worst girlfriend I possibly could. And I was. But, okay. So eventually we broke up, kind of, and we didn't see each other at all. And I moved on, and he moved on. And something happened where I needed to go into have a colonoscopy, and I needed someone to be there. And so I called up Jack. I said, hey, Dan, can you come over and help? Just all I need is for someone to come with me, because they won't do the procedure unless you have someone to come with you. He showed up at where I was living in Everett, and I swear to God, this small boy that he had this huge distended beer belly, and it went all the way up into his chest, and it was so huge he looked like he was 9 months pregnant, and it was the parasites, and he didn't know it. And he told me about how his girlfriend that he had died in the hospital, and I bet you anything that the FBI killed her to make him suffer. In fact, they probably, because they like to kill two birds with one stone, they probably she was probably expendable on the FBI list. They got both of them together and then poisoned both of them, and killed him that way. I don't know when he died, but I believe that Dan Houselton died. And I know why he died, because he had one of those huge monsters inside of him, growing and getting bigger and ripping and tearing all the meat inside. And that's what they do. They if you ever want to know if somebody's infected with these things, check out their abdominal area and their chest area. I mean, if they're infected with one of these huge, if it's really, really huge, they'll look like they're 9 months pregnant or larger. And well, that's how you can tell. And that's how I know that the FBI was murdering both of us at the same time. However, I'm not dead yet. Not yet, but it's coming. It's coming real quick, and well, let me tell you how I know it's coming real quick. Well, they eat away your veins. I feel my veins imploding or exploding. Like, say, for instance, my arm. The vein will explode, and then it'll get really warm down the length of my arm, and then it'll get really, really cold. Now, it does that. You can feel it when the veins are close to the skin, but all the veins on the inside that are exploding, I don't know anything about them, and I don't feel them. There was a huge-ass one in the right-hand side of my chest, a big one, about, I'd say, the size of my freaking hand in there. And what these things do when they get to a certain size and they take the shape of, it's like a squid creature. It's got 4 legs. It looks like a squid. And then on the top of the head, it's got the beak. It's not underneath like a squid. It's got a beak on the top of the head. And it'll push up with its legs and reach up through the middle of your body and just rip away the meat around your heart. And it won't stop. It just keeps on bebopping around. It'll eat the meat, and then it'll reach back up again, and you will feel everything. You'll feel it all. It's not fun. Well, the one in my chest, I felt it in my chest over here, again, about the size of my hand. It must have wrapped itself around a main artery or something, because I felt it turning and twisting and turning. I felt a pop in my chest. I heard the pop, then I felt pressure. I felt this pressure, like it was wrapped around my artery, and then things started to the blood stopped going to my chest or my brain or something. It started to get real dizzy. I started to go out, and that's when it like popped. It like popped. It was pulling the vein out. It was like from the side. It was just this tremendous pressure, ripping the vein out, and then this loud pop sound, and it must have slipped off of the vein. It stopped wrapping itself around the vein for whatever reason. The blood started pumping again to my brain, and then it all came back and everything. I don't know where the little bastard went to, but they're in my heart. They're around my heart. They're in my chest cavity, and they're down in my abdomen and in my back. I thought I was gonna die from a heart attack, but I think I might bleed to death, actually. So that's how I'm probably gonna die. I'm probably gonna bleed to death. That's what I'm guessing.